You are 28 years old. You are an architect. You spent 6 years in a prestigious university, pulling all-nighters, building scale models, and dreaming of designing structures that would outlast you. You work for a boutique firm in the city, earning a respectable salary, wearing perfectly tailored clothes, and living a life defined by clean lines and predictable outcomes. You understand foundations. You understand load-bearing walls. You understand how to build things that are safe. That is the profound irony of your situation. You know everything about structural integrity, but you completely miss the collapse of your own life. It begins with a private commission. A high-net-worth client wants to completely redesign a massive estate on the outskirts of the city. The budget is unlimited. The non-disclosure agreements are thick enough to stop a bullet. You arrive at the property to take initial measurements, and that is where you meet her. Her name is Elena. She does not look like the shadows. She looks like the light. She is 25, educated in Switzerland, speaks 4 languages flawlessly, and has a degree in art history. She is managing the redesign project for her father. She is elegant, sharp, and carries an effortless grace that instantly captures your attention. You talk about European architecture, about classical art, about the perfect way to let natural light into a room. You ask her out for coffee. She smiles and says yes. The first 3 months are a masterpiece of beautiful ignorance. You go to expensive restaurants, exclusive galleries, and private coastal resorts. And you tell yourself she comes from a family of generational wealth, a corporate dynasty. She tells you her father works in international logistics and agricultural exports. You accept the explanation because it sounds boring, and boring is safe. But anomalies begin to appear. Tiny cracks in the pristine surface of your new relationship. You notice that whenever you go out, there is always a black SUV parked exactly 1 block away. You notice that the waiters at the most exclusive restaurants in the city do not just treat her with respect. They treat her with a subtle, underlying panic. You notice that she never takes photos with you. She has no social media. Her digital footprint is an absolute void. When you ask her about it, she changes the subject with a trained, flawless efficiency. You ignore the cracks because you are in love. That is the first lie you tell yourself. You choose blindness because the light is too warm to walk away from. Then comes the invitation. Sunday dinner. You are finally going to meet the father. You drive to the main family estate. It is not a house. It is a fortified compound. High walls clad in natural stone, discreet cameras covering every possible angle, and men standing at the gate wearing tailored suits that fail to hide the bulk of the equipment under their jackets. They check your identification. They check your vehicle. They look at you with eyes that register you not as a guest, but as a potential vulnerability. You walk into the dining room. The father is sitting at the head of a massive mahogany table. You expect a movie villain. You expect gold chains and loud aggression. You are completely wrong. He is wearing a simple cashmere sweater. He is soft-spoken, incredibly polite, and exudes a quiet, absolute authority. The kind of authority that does not need to raise its voice because the entire room has already surrendered to it. He pours you a glass of wine that costs more than your car. He asks about your firm. And then, casually, as if discussing the weather, he starts reciting your life. He mentions your mother's recent medical procedure. He mentions your younger brother's exact university schedule. He knows the exact amount of your remaining student debt. He knows things about your family that you have not even told Elena. My daughter's happiness is my primary investment, the father says, looking directly into your eyes. The room goes dead silent. I have vetted you. You are clean. You have no complications. You make her happy. Welcome to the family. We take care of our own, and our own never, ever leave. The wine turns to ash in your mouth. Your heart slams against your ribs with a violence that makes you dizzy. The puzzle pieces snap together in a fraction of a second. The logistics, the agricultural exports, the black SUVs, the invisible wealth. You are sitting across from the supreme executive of the largest unlisted organization in the hemisphere. A man who controls routes, territories, and destinies. A man whose displeasure is measured in permanent disappearances, and you just became his property. You drive home that night in complete silence. Elena holds your hand. She knows that you know. She looks out the window, her profile illuminated by the passing streetlights. I wanted to tell you, she whispers, but if I told you, you would have walked away. And I didn't want you to walk away. It sounds like a romantic confession. In reality, it is a hostage-taking. You cannot break up with her. You cannot simply send a text message saying it isn't working out and go back to designing suburban homes. You have crossed the perimeter. You have seen the faces. You have sat at the table. Breaking her heart would be categorized as a security breach, and this organization resolves security breaches with brutal, permanent efficiency. Your new life begins. You are no longer an independent architect. You are absorbed into the machinery. The father's associates become your exclusive clients. You stop designing beautiful homes for ordinary rich people. You start designing highly specialized infrastructure. You draw blueprints for warehouses with dual climate zones and hidden sublevels. Siowen, you design residential properties with reinforced panic rooms, escape tunnels, and architectural blind spots that thermal imaging cannot penetrate. You are using your brilliant education to optimize the logistics of the shadows. The financial compensation is obscene. Millions of dollars flow into offshore trusts established in your name. You drive a luxury vehicle with level 5 armor. You wear watches that appreciate in value faster than real estate. You and Elena move into a spectacular penthouse in the city center, but you quickly realize the fundamental truth of the underworld. Luxury is not freedom. Luxury is just the padding on the walls of your cell. Paranoia becomes your permanent state of mind. You are assigned a personal security detail. 2 men who follow you everywhere. They stand outside your office. And they wait in the lobby when you go to the gym. They are officially there to protect you from rival organizations, but you know the underlying reality. They are your wardens. They report every conversation you have, every phone call you make, and every person you meet directly to the father. Your normal life evaporates. You stop calling your old friends because you cannot answer their simple questions about your new success. You distance yourself from your parents because proximity to you is now a terminal risk. If a rival syndicate wants to hurt the father, they will target the daughter. If they cannot reach the daughter, they will target the daughter's partner. You have painted a target on your own back, and the blast radius covers everyone you have ever loved. The psychological weight begins to crush you. Elena is accustomed to this, but she grew up inside the panopticon. She knows how to ignore the armed men in the hallway. She knows how to pretend the money is clean. She has compartmentalized the reality of her father's business so deeply that she genuinely believes she is a normal person. But you were not raised in the shadows. You feel the dirt on every dollar. You lie awake at 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling of your multi-million-dollar penthouse, listening to the silence. Every time your encrypted phone vibrates, your stomach drops. You wonder if this is the night the authorities finally kick the doors down. You wonder if this is the night a rival organization breaches the perimeter. The crisis eventually arrives. It is inevitable in this ecosystem. It is a Tuesday evening. You are at a private dinner with Elena when her phone rings. It is a specific ringtone she only uses for the inner circle. She answers, listens for 3 seconds, and her face turns the color of concrete. "We need to move. Now," she says. The restaurant is evacuated by your security detail. You are pushed into the back of the armored SUV. The driver accelerates to dangerous speeds, running red lights, ignoring traffic laws. A high-level coordination has failed. A major government operation has been launched against the father's primary network, and rival factions are using the chaos to strike at the family's assets. You spend the next 48 hours locked inside a subterranean safe house. There are no windows. The air is filtered. Heavily armed operators patrol the corridors. The communication lines are dark. You look at Elena. She is sitting on the edge of a leather sofa, staring blankly at the wall. She is not crying. She is executing the emotional protocol she was taught since childhood. In that moment, the romantic illusion completely shatters. You realize you are not a couple. You are 2 high-value assets waiting to see if you will be liquidated or preserved. The operation passes. The father's organization survives, albeit wounded. But something inside you is permanently broken. The terror was too real. The proximity to the end was too close. You decide to make the most dangerous move of your life. You request a meeting with the father's right-hand man, the primary coordinator. You meet him in a sterile, empty office building. You do not ask for much. You offer to leave the country. You offer to walk away with nothing. No money, no assets, no contact with Elena. You just want your life back. You just want to disappear into total anonymity. The coordinator listens to you with the patience of a man explaining mathematics to a child. "You misunderstand the architecture of your situation," he says, his voice cold and flat. "You are not a boyfriend anymore. You are a structural component. You know the locations of 14 safe houses. You know the banking protocols. You know the security rotations. You know the father's routines. You are a walking archive of classified logistics." He leans forward, resting his hands on the table. "Elena loves you. Therefore, you are necessary. If you break her heart, you become a liability. We do not allow liabilities to walk around with our blueprints in their heads. Your relationship is no longer a romance. It is a security requirement. Go home. Be a good partner. Why enjoy the penthouse? You walk out of the building. The air is warm, but you feel completely frozen. You return to the penthouse. Elena is waiting for you. She smiles and asks how your day was. You look at her, the woman you thought was your future, the woman whose elegance and charm pulled you out of your ordinary life. You see the invisible chains connecting her to the shadows, and the chains connecting those shadows directly to your throat. You smile back. You tell her your day was fine. You kiss her forehead. You are 32 years old. You have more wealth than you could spend in a lifetime. You have a spectacular partner. You live in a fortress of absolute luxury, and you are completely, utterly hollow. You cannot leave. You cannot rebel. You cannot even complain. You must wake up every single day and perform the role of the loving partner flawlessly because your performance is the only thing keeping you breathing. You traded your freedom, your peace of mind, and your future for a love story that revealed itself to be a meticulously designed prison. You look out the floor-to-ceiling windows at the city below. You used to want to build things that would last forever. Now, you realize you have achieved your goal. You built the perfect cage, and you will live inside it until the day the shadows finally decide to turn off the lights.